In the warm, sun-kissed village of Kalundi, life moved at its own gentle pace. Evenings smelled of roasting maize, and nights were lit by the soft glow of lanterns and dancing fireflies. Here lived a young woman named Amani. At just 18, she was known throughout the village for her innocence, her kindness, and a spirit as gentle as the morning dew. She spent her days helping her widowed mother on their farm and fetching water from the river.
Ho, ho, ho!
People often praised her quiet beauty, but her heart remained in touch she had never known love. Not until one fateful, rain-soaked night. That evening, a heavy storm had just passed. Amani was taking a shortcut through the forest, carrying a bundle of herbs for her mother. Suddenly, she heard a sound that cut through the quiet dripping of the trees, a deep, painful groan. She followed the sound and found him. A man, a soldier, lying beside a fallen log.
Ho, ho, ho!
He was bleeding, his breath coming in shallow gasps. His uniform was torn, caked with mud and blood. A name tag was still visible, J. KIBW Unit 12. Amani knelt beside him, her heart pounding. "Sir, can you hear me?" The soldier's eyes fluttered open, weak and unfocused. "Please, don't leave me here," he whispered. Fear shot through her, but a powerful wave of compassion washed it away. Summoning a strength she didn't know she had, she helped him to his feet and guided him to an abandoned hunter's hut nearby.
Ho, ho, ho!
There, she cleaned his wounds with the herbs she carried, gave him water, and sat with him through the long night as thunder continued to rumble across the distant sky. The soldier's life was hanging by a thread, and Amani refused to let it break. For days, she returned to the hut in secret. She nursed him, bringing him food and fresh water. She bathed his wounds and, in the quiet moments, sang soft lullabies from her childhood to soothe his fevered dreams. Slowly, miraculously, Kibwa's strength began to return.
Ho, ho, ho!
He was deeply moved by her selfless care. "No woman has ever risked so much for me," he admitted one night, his voice thick with emotion. Amani, shy and flustered, simply looked away. As his body healed, a quiet, unspoken bond grew between them. They shared stories from their different worlds, whispered their dreams for the future, and confided their deepest fears. Their connection was gentle, innocent, and pure. The day he was finally strong enough to stand on his own, he took both of her hands in his.
Ho, ho, ho!
"If fate allows," he promised, his gaze intense, "I will return to you. You have captured my heart in ways I cannot explain." On the morning his platoon arrived to find him, he left her with a final, lingering embrace and a promise she believed with her entire soul. But war has a way of swallowing promises. Kibwa's letters never arrived. Not a single one reached Amani in Kalundi. Instead, something else came. 3 beautiful baby girls, born with the same dark, intense eyes as the soldier she had healed in the forest.
Ho, ho, ho!
Triplets, the village began to whisper. "Who is the father?" they would ask. "That soldier. Did he just abandon her, poor girl, raising 3 children all alone?" Amani heard every word, but she chose to ignore them. She poured all her love and energy into her daughters Lulu, Maleka, and Taji. When the gossip became too much to bear, she packed their few belongings, left Kalundi, and settled in a distant farming village.
Ho, ho, ho!
There she raised her girls in peace, her heart filled with a quiet, unwavering hope that one day Kibwa would keep his promise. 7 long years passed. Amani decided it was time to return to Kalundi for the annual Harvest Blessing Festival, a time when families presented their children for blessings and ancestral guidance. She walked into her old village proudly, her 3 beautiful daughters at her side. Each one was a living reflection of the soldier she once trusted. Lulu had his sharp, intelligent eyes. Maleka had his warm, easy smile.
Ho, ho, ho!
And Taji had his bold, fearless spirit. The entire village stared as she passed. The whispers started again, following her like a shadow. But Amani held her head high. She had raised her daughters with honor, love, and integrity, and she would not let anyone shame her. What Amani didn't know was that on that very same morning, a convoy of government vehicles was making its way into Kolundi. In the lead car sat a tall, decorated officer. His uniform was crisp, adorned with medals, and he carried an air of authority.
Ho, ho, ho!
It was Major Jabari Kibble. He had survived the war, and for years he had searched for her. He had visited countless villages, asked hundreds of people, but he had never found a trace of Amani. As he stepped out of his car at the festival, he overheard a whisper. "The girl with triplets. She says the father was a soldier. A man she helped years ago." Kibwa's heart stopped. He turned to the person who had spoken. "Amani?" he asked, his voice strained, not double quotes, "Yes. That's her name. She returned today." He didn't wait for a guide.
Ho, ho, ho!
He didn't wait for another word. He just ran. Amani was standing beneath the massive, ancient embody tree, the ancestral heart of the village. She was telling her daughters stories about their grandmother, her own late mother. Suddenly, she heard rushed footsteps behind her. A voice called her name. "Amani!" She turned, and her world froze. Her breath caught in her throat. Kibwa. He looked older, stronger, marked by the years of war, but his eyes, she had never forgotten those eyes. Kibwa stared at her, his own breath trembling.
Ho, ho, ho!
Then his gaze fell to the three little girls hiding behind her legs, peering out at him with curiosity. He dropped to his knees, overwhelmed. "Amani, are these?" She could only nod, tears finally gathering in her eyes. "Yes. They are your daughters." A choked sound escaped Kibwa. He covered his mouth, trying to hold back a sob. Tears, something he had refused to shed through years of battle, streamed down his face. He reached out a hand, slowly, gently. As if guided by instinct, the girls stepped forward.
Ho, ho, ho!
They seemed to recognize something of themselves in this stranger, this man whose blood ran through their veins. He pulled all three into a tight embrace, burying his face in their hair. "Amani," he choked out, his voice breaking. "I searched for you everywhere. I thought I lost you forever." She wiped her own tears away. "I thought you forgot your promise." He looked up at her, his eyes full of anguish and relief. "I could never forget you," he said. "War kept me away, not my heart."
Ho, ho, ho!
When Amani and Kibwa walked into the center of the festival together, hand in hand with their triplets, the entire village fell silent. The elders stepped forward, their faces etched with surprise. Major Kibwa bowed deeply, showing them the utmost respect. "With all respect," he announced, his voice ringing with conviction, "this woman saved my life, she protected my honor, and she raised my daughters alone. Today, I thank the ancestors for guiding me back to her."
Ho, ho, ho!
The silence erupted into thunderous cheers. The village chief raised his ceremonial staff high. "Let this be a story our children shall learn for generations to come." Drums began to beat, women started to dance, and children sang. The family, once scattered by war and fate, was finally, blessedly reunited. Kibwa built Amani a new home in Kolundi, a house large enough to be filled with the laughter, love, and joyful chaos of three growing girls.
Ho, ho, ho!
He became a respected member of the community, teaching the young boys about respect and bravery, while Amani taught the girls the art of herbal healing. Every evening, The family would gather beneath the great embody tree, the very spot where fate had brought them back together. And every evening Kidwa would take Amani's hand, look into her eyes, and whisper, "You saved my life twice. Once in the forest, and once by giving me a family." Amani would smile, leaning her head on his shoulder, her heart full.
Ho, ho, ho!
Their story became a treasured folk tale in Kulundi, a beautiful reminder that true love always waits, true destiny always returns, and promises made from the heart can never truly fade. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales of love and destiny. We'll see you in the next video.
Ho, ho, ho!